actually the whole of Middle East, sooner than later, inevitable government.
South of the continent?
Well, I don't know whether the Arab
Africa.
Spring is going down as fast as it is doing in the Middle East. Remember that the social structures are different. You see, in the Middle East, almost everybody is in town. I mean, in Egypt, almost everybody is in Cairo. Even
it's
when
a capital of about 20 million people.
20
to 30 million people.
And then others are in the other capitals. When you go to Libya, almost I don't see anybody along the way where they are fighting. It seems everybody is in town. That makes a difference because the urban people think differently from the
rural people.
And they have got solidarity groups because they are living in proximity to each other. Secondly, the Arabs, because of the resources they got in the last about 50 years, they have had higher education, more education than the sub-Saharan African people. You can see in Libya, most of the critics of the regime are in America, are in Europe, are in France, are in Britain. So the level of education is high. And these international norms percolated into the society through Facebook and this other social media, popular social media. But here, I don't know, I'm told about 3 million people out of 33 million again, at least have internet. But even those, how many access? But if you went to Cairo, I can imagine something like more than half of the population could access this, especially the youth. So the social structures are different. However, that does not mean that the wind of change may not blow southwards, in which case it will hasten the change in sub-Saharan Africa. I think they are learning a lesson from there, although the social structures are quite different.
Bernard, let me turn to you for a moment. I'm surprised at the length of time it's taken from the start of this uprising in Libya to the final assault on Tripoli today.
Well, not surprised. I mean, a lot of people were projecting that it would take much longer, that there would be the civil war would go on and on. Apparently it hasn't. I mean, 6 months is a good time. But remember also these guys have had a lot of help, direct help from NATO and the firepower they had. I mean, even now the final push into Tripoli, from what we're reading, is that the NATO and the Americans had a very were closely involved in terms of providing, almost very specific, precise intelligence and backup. So that did help the rebels a lot, even when everybody tells you who's looked at these things, the rebels are not as organized. It's quite fractious. Obviously, about a month ago when they killed the assassination of the commander of the rebel forces, it turns out it was another faction within the rebel
ranks.
The rebel ranks that assassinated him. So there are those issues, and that's now what the focus is now shifting, because Gaddafi is gone, it's past tense, is how will these people, the rebels, hold? Will they hold together? Will they fall apart? What will happen? But as for Gaddafi, I think it's game up. Instead of surrendering, I think he must be hiding in a bank and he wants to be plucked out of there. And you'd think that the images from Abidjan and from Iraq would not tell you, you have some dignity, just surrender. I mean, it's game. You are a soldier, crying out loud. Soldiers do surrender when their soldiers retreat, soldiers surrender. Things happen. So don't wait to be plucked out of some bunker in Bab al-Azizia or somewhere, which is where the fighting is now concentrated, the Gaddafi headquarters.
Mr. Davis, why was Libya different? From Tunisia, from Egypt, the turnout of the Libyan conflict has been fundamentally different. It has had to call in the support of NATO, like Bernard was saying. It's been a drawn-out combat for the last 6 months. Yet for Tunisia, it lasted about 3 weeks. And Zine Bedin Ben Ali was out of office, surrendering, giving up himself. He made several announcements, making concessions. None of them held. The same for Mubarak. Mubarak lasted about a month or slightly more, and they were out of the way. The Libyan conflict has lasted 6 months.
I could figure out 2 explanations. One is that it could be the individual personality in the office. First of all, Gaddafi, although he's an old man, he's when you compare him with Mubarak and Ben Ali, he's younger. I think the other fellows, Ali was also above 80.
Ali was 74, Mubarak is 82.
82.
Gaddafi is about 69 or
yeah, but you see his secret even where he went, that Ali man, they say he's
Ben
also
Ali.
Ben Ali, yes. Mubarak is also on a stretcher. I think Gaddafi was still strong in that sense. Another possibility, I think, is that Libya was more divided in tribal divisions than there was in for example, Egypt and Tunisia. Although Egypt had these Islamic brotherhoods, I think those two countries were more united than
Libya was.
Libya.
But maybe just to add on quickly to that is that the responses of the three regimes, I think, between Tunisia and Egypt, the response was sort of similar, while Gaddafi's was a bit different. The other ones tried to sort of hesitate, try to see what's going on here. Can we negotiate? Can we do this? While they were digging in. For Gaddafi, it was organize the loyalists, the troops that were loyal to him, most of which were from tribes that are more closely associated with Gaddafi's, to attack. So it was war from the word go. Hit everybody in Benghazi, civilians, and etc. So he created a situation for war right from the word go. So it became a battle right away, and that's partly why NATO obviously took advantage of it for personal interest to intervene, because now they will be very happy to sign big oil and gas deals.
August 2011, a very interesting period, because if Gaddafi was able to manage and hang on until the 1st of September, he'll mark exactly 42 years in power, since he took over on 1st September 1969. August, the time he's falling, he was in Kampala, not the last time, but he was in Kampala in July 2001, pronounced at, I think, Grand Imperial Hotel, and said, revolutionaries don't retire. The next day went to the swearing-in ceremony, 12th May, that was May. 12th May, went to Kololo and promoted Muhoozi Kainerugaba to the rank of major, which wasn't, of course, confirmed by the UPDF. But in July, he was in Toro Kingdom, where he was crowned defender of the Kingdom of Toro by King Oyo. And he made the twin offers, by the way, to renovate the palace at Kabarole Hill, and at the same time made the offer to renovate and complete the mosque on Old Kampala Hill.
It's just ironical that it's just talking of...
He did both. He executed both.
Talking of Toro, I mean, the whole idea of the king of kings, being thrown out by rats and
cockroaches,
drug addicts. And
let's take the break and come